Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Well, you have to attempt part A, B, and C. Unfortunately, I could not mention that earlier because we haven't studied purchases journal and purchases returns journal yet. Inshallah, next week we will do that. So this is kind of an ongoing assignment, and I have actually increased your deadline from today to 28th of this month. So let us go through your homework. Thedo opened a wholesale shoe business on 1st of August 2018. He buys and sells on credit terms, which means that he buys and sells stuff, but he gets the payments later and he pays later. So, whatever his business is, uh, they do not tell the name of the business, but we can surely draw a diagram for us that will help us realize what are we doing. So who is at the center of this business? Theto. Okay, this is Theto's wholesale business. Wholesale means they people buy in bulk and then they break the bulk. What does this mean? I mean, they buy in huge and large quantities and then sell in smaller amounts. Even your small shopkeeper does so. So buying from somebody makes the other person supplier, and if the supplier is a credit supplier, it means that that person can be called trade payable, or another name goes as creditor. Similarly, a credit customer is the person who buys now and pays later. So Thato would receive money from them, but at some later date. So this is how the business is actually all about. So there is a customer. It means that it is Abib is the customer. So state the purpose of a debit note received by Theto from Abib, a credit customer. So here's the answer. Abib's purpose is to notify Theto that goods are being returned, okay, and these were faulty or maybe damaged, or maybe for some other reasons that they were not up to the specification, and they are being returned, and it is a request for an invoice reduction. Okay, even if you have written this much down, you would have gotten 1 mark, or you could have said Abib's purpose is to request for an invoice reduction. You can even get 1 mark from that. Abib's. Okay, next, that was a tricky one. Complete the following table by placing a tick to indicate how Theto would record this debit note. Debit notes are not recorded. Okay, it is just a request. If somebody agrees to it, only then they would record, but that document is known as credit note. So debit note will not be recorded. So therefore, no entry in the books of accounting. Part B, state the purpose of statement of account issued by Theto to Abib. So Theto wants to inform Abib of the amount due by sending transaction summary of the whole month. So after each month, each customer receives a statement of account from their suppliers that actually informs them how much amount is due, how many transactions did they do, how much give and take did happen during the period. But then again, please remember it is not a source document for recording purposes. It is a source document only for information purposes. State why Theto did not record this in the ledger, and now they're asking why it is not a source document. Well, ledgers have already been made from other source documents, maybe debit notes, credit notes, receipts, checks, check counterfoil. So therefore, there is no need to duplicate your records. Rather, it is just a summary which you obtain from all the ledgers to be sent to the respective customers. For example, you go to sales ledger, you find all your customers, Daim, Danya, in our example, if you can recall. So you will send each customer his or her summary of transactions. So this is not a source document, therefore this should not be recorded in the ledger because ledger has already been uh, filled with other source documents. Next, this is a familiar sight to you. This is an invoice. An invoice is a document that is sent to the credit customers for a demand of payment. So the sender in this case is Nayak and the receiver is Theto. Their address is written, then there is the date, then there are some details of quantity, then there is a description, and then you have got the rate which is applied, and then you have the total amounts. The total amount was 6250, but since Theto was buying in bulk, so Nayak actually gave discount to Theto, 20% trade discount. Trade discount is not recorded in the books, therefore it is this amount that should be recorded in your journals or in your the journal. Next, 2.5% discount for payment in 30 days. So if on top of this 1250, another discount can be availed if Theto pays within 30 days. So before 3rd of September. So if Theto wants to have this discount, he or she he must pay before 30 days. So C1, state one reason why Nayak allowed Theto trade discount. So it is discount allowed for Nayak to encourage bulk purchase or to induce loyalty, or maybe they are trading partners. So just to honor that trading partnership, they can decide among each other how much discount should they actually give each other. Now, I mean, Theto is receiving the discount, so it is discount received for Theto, and Nayak is extending the discount, so it is discount allowed for Nayak. So Nayak is the credit supplier who is supplying bulk goods in bulk to Theto, and since Theto is buying in bulk or in huge or large quantities, therefore it is kind of an incentive to, I mean, it is a normal industry practice that you give discounts. So this is known as a cash discount and discount allowed for Theto, or rather discount received for Theto. So state one reason why Nayak offered Theto cash discount. I mean, they're now asking about, first they were asking about this 20% discount, and now this 30 days, within 30 days payment discount. So this discount is not calculated, but it would be calculated once the payment is made. So this is to encourage Theto to pay early, to settle the due or settle the bills early, which is in this case is 30 days. It is written in the terms and conditions. So calculate the amount of the check Theto gave to Nayak on 31st of August to settle the account. For example, since 31st August is within this 30 days range, so Nayak would actually have to pay some additional discount, allow some additional discount. If you want to calculate how much is it, there are two ways. First of all, this is the total amount that is payable minus the discount amount. How would you calculate discount? It is 2.5% of the total amount due, which is $5,000. So 2.5% of $5,000. So 2.5 divided by 100 would actually lead to 48.75 in total. 5,000 minus this much. So it's around $125. All right. If they have only asked you about the discount, so you will only calculate this much portion and reveal your answer. But if they have asked you to just give the discounted figure, so you can quickly observe the marks. There is only one mark for this. If there are 3 marks, so there would be 1 mark for this calculation, 1 mark for your final answer, and maybe 1 mark for this one. But if this is only 1 mark, so they must only be interested in this amount. However, you should show your workings. It is a good practice. So even if this amount is wrong, but the process is correct, and unfortunately you do not know how to convert 2.5 into 2.5, so you just considered it 21 by 2 and accidentally you made it 11.5 or 10.5 as a result, and you calculated 10.5 divided by 100 into 5,000, even then you will get an own figure mark. Own figure marks means that you took your own value, but your answer according to your own workings is correct. So examiners normally give that if there is an own figure in the mark scheme allowed for the teachers. Name the ledger in which Theto would maintain Nayak's account. So now we have to stand in the shoes of this business and imagine we are Theto. So for us, Nayak is a credit supplier. So we have a purchasing relationship with them. So purchases ledger is the ledger maintained for those people who are our credit suppliers. Similarly, name the ledger in which Nayak would maintain Theto's account. So now we have to stand in the shoes of Nayak and see things from this perspective. So as we can see that Nayak is the seller. So for this person, this guy is the customer. So trade receivables ledger, which is also known as sales ledger. All right. So you have to complete till this point, and this we will do afterwards. Although you could have done the journal entries for that, but they have dedicated books which are purchases journal and purchases returns journal, and then we had to make these ledger accounts that could have been made even if you did not have the knowledge of part C. Uh, yeah, part D. You could have even attempted part E in absence of the knowledge of that by making only the journal entries from these transactions which were given. But then again, we will do it in the next week. So your assignment is till this point. Take care.